Hello, friends. Can you hear me? You can? Great. I do not know why, but it's making me add everybody individually right now, which is really annoying. I can never, I can never like do this right. Zoom and I are not friends, like at all. Okay, so I'm just gonna wait a few minutes and see who is gonna join. I know it's a little bit before 7, but I basically just wanted to do a little social media call, kind of like a pump up call and just like a big social push going into this week. A lot of people reach out to me all the time, asking me about like different things with social media, how like best practices, how to's, just kind of all the things. So once, I don't know, we'll give it like 2 more minutes and then we'll start and I'll intro you. And because I feel like I see a lot of faces, I blasted this to a lot of different downlines and leaders who are friends of mine and so on and so forth. So I actually have no idea who's getting on this call. I'm always like the more the merrier. So yeah, so we'll just give it a sec and then I've been saying this. So I teach Soul Cycle. I've been saying this in class and I keep saying, let's vamos a la playa. And everybody's like, what is wrong with you? Like, whatever, Mads. Okay. I'm just trying to see. Cool. All right. Well, it's 7:01, so I'm going to start. Hi, everyone. My name is Maddie, AKA Mads Tads. I'm not sure if you follow me on social media, if you don't, or who invited you to this call, but I'm super glad you're here. I kind of just wanted to go over Instagram tips and tricks and best practices with you guys, you ladies, gentlemen, whatever, whoever's on. But I also mostly wanted to get on here as like a pick your brain so you guys can ask me questions or things that you're running into on social media that you're having trouble with, or just like little nitpicky things that can help you kind of completely change your business. I feel like most of us here most of us are running our business through social media. I feel like, am I right? Can we like agree with that? So other than doing live events and, open mouth is an open business, I would say like 90% of a lot of the business that we do is through social media. Whether that be, some people are big on Facebook. I personally, I almost never use Facebook anymore. I'm almost solely on Instagram. So I want to just kind of open the floor to kind of just talk about anything that you are running into problem-wise, what you feel like is really working well for you in the Instagram world, and things that you could use help with. So we can talk stories, we can talk photos, and we can talk Lightroom, we can talk presets, we can talk about any of the things. I kind of wanted to open the floor and volley the conversation around. I don't really like to just talk the whole time on calls. I don't run them like that. So basically just want to open the floor if anybody has any oh my goodness, I'm having issues, I need help. And then we can kind of dive in. Hopefully everybody can pull something away from this that they need social media wise. Y'all are on mute, but you can unmute yourself and we can dive in. I told everybody to come with questions. I don't know if that got around.
I have a question.
Hi, Lauren.
Hi. So I feel like I have exhausted my friend group. I have like 2,500 followers on Instagram, and I feel like I've I've just done it all. I blast in my stories. I try to keep it like 80/20,
Yeah.
and all that. And I go on and I try to like find, I'm a mom of two, so I try to find like moms who, I feel like this would fit them, that this could be their niche. But
Yeah.
I'm just finding it super hard to like find moms. Like I don't know what hashtags to really look for, and B, to keep that, like, keep a relationship going besides like liking, commenting and stuff. I don't know, it's just hard for me.
Yeah. Well, you're not alone. A lot of us, and I know a lot of people feel that way in general when they feel like they've exhausted their really warm, hot market, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
It's like finding that genuine relationship with other people in your niche, if you will. And this is what I've done. I either start with my hot market, and then I call it like the Instagram hole, where I will go to who they follow, and I will systematically go through and see if anybody, like, I'll start clicking on different people and see if anybody in there out of that pool kind of catches my eye. And then from there, I kind of go about it a couple different ways. If I see someone who like has a great Instagram, or somebody that I'm like, I call it like my dream team, like my hot list, I just put them on alerts. So does everybody here understand how to put someone on alerts?
No.
Okay. So first things first, when you go to follow someone, I wish I could do a screen share with you guys. I feel like it would be so, so helpful. But so say everyone go to just like a random profile that you follow. Under the following link now, there's a drop down, and you can put notifications on. You can put notifications for posts and stories, depending on how much you want to see, how little you want to see, etc. I do this right now for anywhere between 20 to 50 girls that I think would be really awesome at the business, that I really am trying to create a genuine connection with, like liking their photos, liking their stories, creating that feed. So a lot of times, like I talked about this on a recent podcast that I spoke on about money, like we all get those cold messages where it's just like a completely random message. Like there's no track record, no feed of you guys talking about anything in the past. And it's just like a random ass cold message. And you're like, fuck no, right? That's going to be a no for me, dog, right? So I always say the more that you can create in their feed of like talking, like ask them if they're talking about skincare, talk about skincare, like get actually interested in what they're doing. And it's also a great process for you, almost like screening, because if you're not genuinely interested and don't find them interesting, chances are other people won't either. So it's kind of a good like process to see kind of if that's someone that you do really want to keep following and try to get like to know and build this social media relationship with, because it's weird, like that's kind of how we build relationships now, and see if that's someone you do want on your team. So I usually start by like, if I've exhausted all my friends and whoever, I start looking at friends of friends, and then kind of creating my list of like 20 to 50 that I'm gonna consistently check up on or put those notifications on. Sometimes notifications are too much for people. Some people are more like they like to write it down. So if that's the case, get your notebook, write all the hashtags down. Their handles down, and go and check in on them consistently and make it almost like a daily practice. Like, what's that person up to today? Just so you're kind of like always on their mind a little. That's what's really great about the notifications as well. I always try, if I can catch it, to be one of the first people to comment on their photo, because that guarantees, I would say like 95% of the time they will see it. And that's just like kind of like a brain to screen recognition of like, oh, who is that? Oh, they're always like, and it almost creates this like sense of, I wouldn't say like trust, but there's something there where you're always like on their mind. And then when you actually start to engage in conversation with them or start talking to them about the opportunity, it's almost like normal. It feels a little more natural because you have developed that kind of relationship with them. It does definitely take a little bit of extra, and I'm definitely not saying that cold messaging doesn't work. Of course, there are those times that it does. I just feel like it's so much more authentic to actually build a relationship with people, and then you're going to get a lot more yeses than just like no, 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 no all over the place. So yeah, Lauren, does that kind of help you out a little bit?
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you.
And so this is good because you've got my mind.
Yeah.
Was that your little one? Oh, hi.
Wearing her Boston University shirt.
Love it.
Because of you. Okay, I'll go back on mute.
No, you're fine. So another thing I really wanted to talk about was stories. So I get that Instagram is at its core like pretty pictures, right? We all work so hard on creating like a beautiful feed. I know a lot of us work a lot with like having the correct preset and making it all look really, really aesthetically pleasing. That said, I think stories, like, you know, pictures are pictures. Like we all have the cute captions. We all have like whatever. I think stories are your opportunity to really sell yourself. Sell. And when I say sell, I mean, I don't like to say like we're salesy, you know, we like don't like to talk like that, but I mean, sell yourself about like what you're about, like your brand, how you communicate with people. Stories are really where you develop that trust thing. I feel like I don't really know when I had the tipping point for my social media, but I talk to my phone a lot. And I tell my girls on my team a lot, like, it is an absolute game changer when you like get over the fear. I know a lot of people don't want to take their phone out and like start talking to it, but I promise you, the second you start doing that, your entire business will change. It just like people will start coming out of the woodwork asking questions. I've had a couple girls on my team do that. I had one girl, her name is Tara. She never wanted to go live, or she never wanted to like put her face on the camera. And the second she did, like her business blew up because people felt like she was a real person that they could like connect with and gravitate towards. So I don't know where everybody is at in terms of like how they're doing their stories and stuff, but like for like example, how many people are super comfortable with like talking to the camera, like no problem. It comes easy to them. I know there are no hands. Oh, here, Chloe, will you drop your handle for me? But I also understand that it takes time for people. But I just think it's, what we're doing is building relationships, right? Like at the core, it's network marketing. So the better you can network and make people feel, I always say same thing with like Soul Cycle, because I relate it to my other job. You always want to make people feel seen, heard, and appreciated. And if you can do those things and really reach out and touch someone and make them feel like you are someone they can trust, and they like build this bond with you via video, like it's just, the whole business will change. And I know it's scary. And again, this is like the whole like getting out of our comfort zone on another level, right? Leveling up to the whole posting of videos. But I really think that, and I encourage everyone to go there. And it will feel weird, but just pretend like you're Kim Kardashian, and what you have to say and what you're doing is amazing. Like whether it's going to Starbucks, whether it's going about your day, whether it's you're going to your fitness class, like whatever it is that you are doing throughout the day, your followers follow you because they're interested in what you are doing. So like just give them what they want. Does anybody have any questions about that, or like best practices, or how to just get over it and do it? Crickets? Anyone out there? Hello? Anybody? Anybody like super, super, super terrified to go live or put their face on camera?
I am.
Who's saying that?
Kayla, I said that.
I can't. Oh, hi, Kayla.
Hi.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Whose downline are you in?
Lauren.
Oh, amazing. Well, here's the thing. I know that it's scary, and I know that it's like a whole nother level of getting outside your comfort zone, but I promise you, and I challenge you this week, even just start small, right? I think a lot of times in this business, especially with social media, like I yell all the time, like, you're not supposed to know what some skinny bitch in Australia is doing. You're just not. You know what I mean? So sometimes social media can be overwhelming because you see all these amazing stories and bloggers, but like don't compare your start with someone else's like way down the road. So if you feel uncomfortable and like you're gonna mess up, I've messed up on videos so many times to the point where like that became my thing, like going on rants and being crazy, and that kind of became my niche of why people started following my videos, because I was just like a nut job. So it'll feel weird and uncomfortable, but the more you do it like anything else, it will start to feel normal.
Okay.
And if you feel like you don't have anything, this will go across the board. Let's like do that as a challenge. If you feel like you have nothing to talk about, tomorrow when you go get coffee, film yourself getting coffee and what your coffee order is. It's the simplest thing, right? It's something you do every day. You're very comfortable doing it. Even if you make your coffee at home, then film yourself with your Keurig and be like, holy shit, I have the craziest day today. I have this, this, and this. Who feels me out there? And I guarantee people will slide into your DM and be like, oh my God, me too, girl. Holy shit, caramel swirl from Dunkin', me too. Like literally, it's crazy. Once you just like, you break a barrier when you put your face on camera. Like you become a real person versus, you know, this like whatever facade that we all create with our Instagrams. I mean, we all do it. It's just like the videos are really like pulling the veil up and being like, hey, I'm real. Do you feel like that is something doable for tomorrow?
Yeah, I could try it.
It's really like, it'll be awkward, but I promise it'll happen and it'll be promise.
I do have one more question for you too, if you don't mind.
Of course.
So back to kind of what Lauren was saying about like finding people, I guess, and like, you know, your cold market, I guess, on Instagram.
Yeah.
I'm running into the people I have reached out to, or, you know, I think might be, you know, a good fit, are already selling like their fitness products. Yeah. And then a lot of them are messaging me back. Like, does everybody else have that issue, or is that just me?
Yeah, no, that happens across the board. I feel like, I also feel like though, some of my greatest clients or friends and like people I've actually become confidants with are working in Isogenics or working in Beauty Counter or working in another
so it's not necessarily a bad thing.
It's not necessarily a bad thing, because sometimes like I do like one-off trade-offs with them, or like they'll become my VIPs. I'll buy like a shake. Like if it's someone I genuinely like, and I'm like, I have a couple girls. I have one girl that does Arbonne, one that does Isogenics, and another girl. And we all get together and we like just do like round robins of like what's going on, like how do we learn from social? And we pick each other's brains as leaders in different companies, because across, like, this is like a whole, like everybody struggles with this. It's not just Monty. It's like everybody, all encompassing. So sometimes it's also like we all mastermind together. So I don't ever count that out. Obviously it's a little tougher, but you just made me think of one thing that will really help everybody. I feel like with the cold market or running on a hot market. So I'm not sure where everybody lives, but this is how I will hunt for new people. I don't know if you guys know this feature. I taught Chelsea Newman this, and I thought she like screamed on the phone. It was like really, really, really funny. So if you go to search, you can look at places. Can everyone see that under search? Places. What I do when I'm looking for people that might be outside my network that I've never met before, that I want to like find a new pool, or find, like, I always call them like, where are the young cuties hanging out? Like, where are the cool, like where are the cool kids going? I will look up the hottest bars, the coolest clubs, the best coffee shops. Like, think of places in your area that either speak to you, that you frequent, or that you have some sort of like affiliation with. So for me, a lot of times in the fitness world, like I'll look up different Soul Cycles across the country. So I would look up other girls that either ride Soul Cycle and might be fitness instructors, because that's like something I can relate to. I do this a lot places with hair places, like Dry Bar. Like I look up all the dry bars in Boston, and I'll go through and I'll see like who's really into hair, who's really into makeup. And you can kind of, this is called growth hacking, by the way. You can grow your network from looking up all the different places in your area that either you deem like cool and hot, or places that you really love to hang out at, or obviously hair care businesses or spas or salons in your area, where then you can find people who frequent there who might be interested in this business and or interested in our products. Does that make sense for everyone? It's kind of like a cool little way. Like you can actually, I try to put it on, like I'll only let myself do it for an hour, because you can get like, I call it like the Instagram hole. Like you can get like in there for a long time. Like you could really go crazy. So I usually like time block it and then be like, okay, we're done here. Because you really could go forever and ever and ever. Honestly, it's like ongoing. So I always put like an hour time block or a half an hour time block, and then like put it away and come back to it. And that's how I growth hack places, like specific locations, and then find people through there. Does that help, Kate? All right. Any other questions?
Hi, Juliet.
I have a question.
I can't see who's talking. Ari? Hi.
Yeah. So my warm market is very far to where I live.
Okay.
I moved to El Paso about a year ago.
Okay.
And I've tapped into my total warm market. So now I'm trying to develop a new warm market with a new tribe. I'm trying to develop a tribe in El Paso, and that's my struggle right now.
Okay. So, like, I feel like this would be a great technique for you. Like, how long have you been in El Paso?
Since June of last year. June of last year, a long time.
Okay, so I feel like if you move to a new place and you like literally don't, like, say you don't have a lot of friends, like you really don't know where to turn to, that is when I would start turning to locations. Like, where are people going to hang out and do cool shit in your area? Like, for Boston, I'm constantly going to like Tate, which is like this really like posh coffee shop. There's always like people doing stuff there. I always look up all the different like fitness locations, and then I'll start to look up like really trendy restaurants. And I'll go to those places as well. But I think that when you go, like you look at your location and you start to like go in and see who's tagged themselves there, it can be a great pool of people in your area that are just like you, that you might not have met yet. And then you put the work in with like developing this relationship. Maybe you find that you have something in common. Maybe you can go take a fitness class or meet someone for coffee. And then that's when you can like really create the actual like meet in person. Let's cultivate this relationship, like make it a real thing. And like sometimes when you meet up with people, you're like, oh, like that wasn't anything. And sometimes it's magic. Like it's just about like putting yourself out there and actually like doing it. You know, like, do you feel like you're struggling to meet people, or you're struggling to find like people in your area? Or
I feel like I'm struggling to find people with the same mindset. Not so much struggling to find people, because I'm a very social person, I work with 200 residents. I work in an apartment complex, so I see people all the time, but it's more or less like finding the people who go into my niche of they want the same things that I want.
Yeah. I mean, have you talked to everybody in your apartment complex? That's a lot of people.
I'm actually hosting an event soon, so hopefully.
Amazing. What do you mean? That's great. That's like real on the ground networking. Like outside
Yeah.
of all the social stuff we do, like of course, like open mouths and open business. You know, we say we beat that point like dead. And then of course hosting events. I mean, that's amazing. I think you have to give yourself a little credit.
Thank you.
Seriously. And then once you host an event, then, follow everyone, like their stuff, friends of friends, like where do you go? What's the cool place in town? What's your favorite bar? What's this? And then start to actually like go out and do that, hang out at those places, follow those tags, follow those places. And I guarantee you're going to create a network for yourself, even though you're new there, even though you feel like you're swimming in a different place, like it will happen. Obviously it takes time and like nurturing those relationships, but it will happen for you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Bring them on. Come on.
So I launched yesterday and I haven't gotten any responses from like anyone yet. Like people liked the post, but no one really messaged me to ask me much about it.
Okay. So back up. Sorry, Krista. When you say launch, you became a market partner yesterday?
Yes. And I put like my launch post on my Instagram.
Amazing. Okay.
And Facebook.
So brand new, hot out the gate. For you, it's really going to be about being excited and talking to people about it. Like, okay. I would say not even really, like, yes, tap into social media when you get your box. There's like a ton of creative posts you can check Pinterest. You can literally DM me. I can send things to you. Thanks, Chanel. I just saw that. But so when you first start, I know everybody gets super, super excited. Like, I want to go now. And it will absolutely happen for you. But I think your biggest tool right now is word of mouth and being excited and calling friends that you know, like I always think of like my ride or dies. Like, who are the people I would call, like, if, like, in my case, I'm always like, who do I call to bury a body? Like, those are the 5 people I call. And,
yeah.
And then once you've kind of, so what we were talking about, Krista, which you might not have, or you might understand, or you might not, hot market. So like your best buddies, your best of your best, like those people that, your ride or dies.
Yeah.
And even just talk to them about it. Call your mom. I called my dad. I was like, yo, Dad, I'm going to pitch you for a second. Like, sit on the phone with me. And he's like, oh my goodness. And I was like, just do it. Like, the people that like support you till the end are people that you should be talking to first. Like, before even like setting out to social media, before even like making your debut and like posting and all that. I would also be curious as to what you posted that, you're saying you didn't get any responses at all.
So I posted that me and my fiance were moving to Charlotte, North Carolina. Right now we live in Plainville, Connecticut. And I think people saw that and were like, oh, congrats on moving, and like didn't pay attention to the part that I said that I'm starting like a new business for extra income and it's like a great business, and everyone was just like, oh, congrats on moving. And I'm like, oh, thanks, but that wasn't the point.
Yeah, it might have just got overshadowed. And like a lot of this too is throwing things at the wall and seeing what sticks. Like, I've had nights where I've spent hours in Canva making like these beautiful, elaborate stories, and I put them up and like didn't get one response for like a market partner. And I was like, you've got to be fucking kidding me, and I like go crazy. But that's the reality. And that is sometimes like where we say like, this is the consistency thing. Like being able to be like, okay, that didn't stick. Let me keep storying, front-facing video. Let me talk about different things going on in my life. Maybe you do a story about like you're packing and you put your husband on it and, you know, whatever it is. And then, you know, in a day or so, you revisit and you're like, oh, by the way, like, remember what I was talking about before? This is the box. Like, I'm getting started today. Let me know, like, if you have questions. And that's when you can start to weave it back into your life and what you're actually doing.
Okay. And should I put post up or just on your story? Like, actually on your feed, or like on?
I think it's a healthy mix of both.
Okay.
I definitely do static posts, not as often, but, and I really hammer it home in my stories, because I feel like that's where you're making like the biggest connections. A lot of times, like in feed posts, like people won't even scroll through and read the whole thing. So I think where you really can truly excel in the Instagram game is stories.
Okay.
Yeah. Don't get discouraged. You just started. Like, you're going to be amazing. It's just the consistency thing, and you're going to be fine.
Yeah. Totally. Like, so I reached out to like some of my good friends, and everyone was just like, oh, good luck with that. And I'm like, oh, thanks, guys. Like, because I feel like everyone's like, oh, like everyone sells something, and it's just like one of those things. So I don't know how to get people to be like,
they'll come around. Trust me. Consistent.
More into it.
It'll happen. Promise.
Okay.
Just keep going.
Okay.
All right. We have 8 minutes left. I'll take 2 more questions. Really, really good ones. I'm sorry. I literally haven't been reading the comments. Let me try to scroll up. But 2 more. 2 more. I see someone saying, I'm mortified to go live. Are you guys really scared to go live? Is that something we should talk about?
Yes.
Going live. How many people on this call have gone live? Show of hands. I know like a lot of people, I can't see a lot of people. And this again, just like go live when you're walking down the street. I do it all the time when I'm just walking, and talk to your camera. And this just goes back to like, it's super awkward. You're going to feel really weird. People are going to look at you funny. Like, how many times have you walked around the street and you see someone take an Instagram picture of yourself and like people are looking at them and kind of like scowling? I always yell, do you, girl? I always yell, get that content. And like, so it's going to be awkward. And you just kind of have to own it. This like goes back to again and again and again and time after time. It's just like getting over yourself and getting uncomfortable. Like, it is weird. I still think it's weird. Sometimes I get embarrassed when somebody sees me like propping my camera up and I'm like trying to take a selfie. Like, it's weird. And I'm just like, respect my hustle. You know what I mean? And that's just something you'll get used to, either your stories or going live. They're very similar. They're very interchangeable. When you go live, it can end and you can never post it anywhere again, or you can share it for 24 hours. So that's the difference. Like, your stories are going to be up for 24 hours no matter what. Lives, you can trash. Sometimes I do a live and I'm like, that sucked. Trash. And then it's over. You already went live. Whoever was on it, listening to what you said. So you never know, it could happen. But then it doesn't have to exist anymore after that. So you get to decide, I keep it or trash it. Stories will live on. Obviously, you can delete them, but I mean, I always say take a stab at it. Throw shit at the wall. Like, something's going to stick after a while. You are going to find your niche. It's just like doing it again and again and again and getting uncomfortable with it until it's no longer uncomfortable. Let's take one more question. We have 6 minutes. Going live is liberating and addicting. I love that. Go live with other people on your team is more comfortable. I would agree with that. I've definitely gone live with several other girls on my team and or other teams and or lateral lines to talk about the business. And I've done it with Kat a lot. You can kind of like volley questions back and forth. And you can also just be talking about, like, a lot of times, like, people don't necessarily like to go right after the business. Just talk about mindset. Talk about how your day is going, how you stay positive, like what you're reading when you don't feel like showing up, like how you show up. It can be like the littlest things to go live about. Like, it doesn't necessarily always have to be about hammering about the business. And that will just go back to like the 80-20, 90-10 thing. Like, people want to see stories about your life and what you're doing. And that's what makes them connect to you, not like photos of like bottles and things like that. And granted, we all do our business differently. I'm not saying that's not right. I'm just saying I found success when I don't do that. But you're allowed to obviously live your life. It might work better for people on the call. I'm not sure. Hasn't worked for me yet. So I just do it what works for me right now. How did you get your following and engagement so big? Okay. Again, I actually went through my feed to see where I was like even a year ago. A year ago, I had like, I think it was around like 25K. I moved to Boston 3 years ago with 5,000 followers. I am hovering around 36,000 right now. I can say for certain that I am on my phone a lot. I think my weekly screen time is like 56 hours, something really crazy, and it's just in social media apps. So, I mean, it's just putting in the hours, it's putting in the minutes, and it's doing consistent work, like going in there, going to those places we talked about, going to different locations, liking different people's things, and trying to create this social network around yourself. And it took time. It took time. When I originally went to SoulCycle training, like I wasn't the biggest, I wasn't the fastest, I wasn't the strongest, I wasn't a lot of the things. But what I saw was social media starting to become very popular. And I just made the decision. I was like, I'm going to hammer this one stream and make it like my thing. And then 3 years later, we are where we are. But it takes a lot of time and consistency and staying like on top of it. And trust me, I get it. Like it sucks. Posting once a day, even twice a day, and doing the filter and doing everything is like, sometimes I'm like, I want to take my phone and I want to smash it. Like I often wonder like if the video would just go viral if I did that. And it takes time. So the way that I've tried to stay consistent in posting either in the morning or at night, I always say, depending on what your time zone is, try to post between, if you're in the morning, 7 and 9, and in the evening, I always say it could be anywhere from 5 to 7, 5 to 8 in that hour. Weekends can be a little all over the place. I find that the highest engaged posts are Friday night between like 6 and 9, and Sunday evening between like, anytime now, like 5 to 9. Because you got to think, when are people on their phones? When they're commuting, when they're first waking up, when they're going to bed, when they're messing around on a Sunday night before Game of Thrones. Shout out to my Thrones fans right now. So that is a thing, posting consistency. So definitely try to do once a day. That will make your engagement go up, up, up. I have a lot of girls that will post like once a month, and I'm like, you're irrelevant right now. The algorithm doesn't even matter to you because you're not even in the mix. So my challenge for you, I feel like we're going to get cut off, and I'm really sorry. I wish this could go an hour because I feel like I could talk forever on it. Try to post once a day, every day this week consistently. I know that's a lot. I know. So try to time block for yourself. And 2, I want to challenge everybody to go live and or start to post videos of your face on your stories. I promise, I swear, your business and just life and everything, how you engage on social media, particularly Instagram, will completely change. That's really all I have for you guys. Like I said, I could talk about this forever and ever and ever. Y'all have my handle. I answer literally every single DM and every comment. That's just like the way I do it. So if you have any individual questions, please reach out. I recorded this. I feel awkward recording it because I don't even remember what I said. But I really hope this was somewhat helpful. Like I said, you guys need me, hit me up. I'm always on my phone, always on social media. So yeah, that's all I got for you. We'll do another one soon if you want. Let me know your feedback and have a great week. That's all I got. Bye, babies.